Well, good morning. Oops, wait a minute. It's martini time. This isn't coffee. Welcome to martini time. So let's see what the monkey will jump onto. I think I need a haircut. I've been watching Sherlock, and I watched the NBC with Trump in Charlottesville, and I read non-dual books. I'm currently reading Ken Wilburn, and there's so many different dots in one's life, in our life, that don't seem to be connected. That it's all, it's just this. When I look at my day, of course, I live a very mundane life. I'm retired here in Blackstone, but at the same time, it's whole, it's one, and yet it's fragmented. In that, I'm reading on the front porch these sublime, mystical writings, and then I'm watching Morning Joe, and in Charlottesville and Trump, and then a friend comes over and we get into this really intuitive conversation about behavior and the riptide in our behavior. And then I watch a Sherlock. And then I come to martini time, and my head's like in a swirl of all these different fragments, and it reminds me of Sherlock. If you've seen that movie, it's brilliant. It's a British TV series, and it ran for 4 years, I think. We're in the last year, and so Sherlock is a master of deduction. So he is aware as everything. It's like he is aware as before he becomes aware of something. And this is Zen, in the sense that there are two awarenesses. One's primary, one's secondary. The primary awareness is 360 degrees open awareness as everything. This is kind of like Gestalt therapy, the Gestalt psychology. There is a fundamental 360 degree, well, maybe not behind your head, but I mean a panoramic awareness of everything as a whole. And then out of that, your secondary awareness, which is awareness of a subject and object, that operates out of the awareness as. So I'm unconsciously aware of everything in the room. You are aware of everything around you. But consciously, awareness of something, your subject, I, picks out what to be conscious of. So you're looking at the lamp, you're looking at your watch, you're looking at this, you think you're looking at an idea in your head. So it's like a little searchlight. And it goes around and picks up things to be aware of out of the primary awareness of awareness as, you see. So, and I see this in myself, and it helps me understand my own awareness, my own mind, which is really what I'm really interested in doing, is understanding how my mind works. Because when I understand how my mind works, I can understand how history works, because it's all one mind. You are the world and the world is you, so the outside world is a reflection of you. You are the center of the world. We're all the center of the world. So our mind is one, but we experience everything as two. So Sherlock is kind of like a metaphor for this fundamental primary awareness as. So he is just automatically seeing everything without any effort. And then he can just go through it like a computer database and pick out what's important to connect the dots and deduce the story that holds the facts together. So what he does, you see, is that, well, he'll notice everything, a hair, the this. He would say that's, he would be able to describe the whole story of this. And then the wrinkle in the shirt, why the ironing is not, why I'm sloppy at ironing, or why the shirt is old. And so he would deduce my whole story, you see. He would put together a narrative about me by noticing all of the little dots and the fragments of information, you see. And so he would deduce a story, you see. And so if you look at our current events, we have two Sherlocks going on in the sense that things happen, and then you have a left and a right Sherlock, and each will look at the things happen and come up with a different narrative. And Trump will come up and say, well, your narrative is fake news. You're fake, I'm real. And this side says, no, you're fake, I'm real. So we're kind of like caught in a battle between two Sherlocks, between Sherlock and Moriarty. I see Moriarty is the shadow of Sherlock. His shadow, his reflection. So he hates and loves him, you see. Can't get rid of him, but he keeps coming back. So this each is a shadow of the other. And so we're kind of like that in our society today, is that the cultural war has split America into two Sherlocks, each of which sees the other one as fake. But the shadow, you see. So this whole, this is why I love the yin yang. I keep, this Taoist symbol here is so deep. It's so simple and yet so so profound. Excuse me. Need some more martini. It's this play between two opposites that are the one but mutually divided into two, so that they circle each other like that, you see, each trying to become the one and restore unity, but can't, because they're mutually dependent. If you destroy one, you destroy the other. This is the irony of the yin yang and historical or civil war. Sorry. So we're in a civil war, a value civil war. We're not in a physical civil war like in the real Civil War, but we're still in that cycle of the two halves chasing each other, you see, trying to become the one by removing the other. So when we get to Sherlock, the metaphor of Sherlock is that by connecting the dots, he comes up with a whole, with a story or the truth that connects all the dots. And in the mystery, or in our own conflict, in our personal conflict, our personal yin-yang, where we're chasing wholeness, we're really conscious and unconscious. There is the conscious mind, and there's that which is unconscious. And so these two go around and around like the light and the dark of the yin-yang. That would be the unconscious, that would be the conscious. And we chase. This is called the double bind, or the catch-22, where you're constantly creating a situation where you can't win. And then you notice that it's a pattern, that it's a repetitious reenactment of a particular pattern, you see. And so this, in order to break out of that, you have to be Sherlock. And you have to be able to connect the fragmented dots and suddenly get the, I see the whole. I see the whole story. I see the truth. So when this is the whole practice of the Dharma practice that I'm involved in. Dharma is the whole and consciousness, and so the Dharma path is the yearning or the intention to be Sherlock, to connect the dots, and to understand the whole instead of having loose threads and inconsistencies, and it doesn't fit, and I don't understand, and conflict, you see. So so I'm kind of like playing with this idea of Sherlock as our metaphor, because that's why we love the movie. We love this story. My wife's going down the stairs. She's going out to the Rotary tonight, and I go get some fried chicken. So this whole Sherlock is such a great metaphor for us, and I think that's why we love it, is because, first of all, he knows it's a game. The game is on. So he loves the game. He loves the search. He loves the question. He likes to be challenged. He hates being bored. Oh, that's boring, 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 boring. Now that's interesting. The game is on, you see. So this whole Sherlock impulse here in us is to see the game. Once we see the game, we don't play it anymore. The game is interesting because you don't know how it ends. There's a surprise, you see. But if you know how it ends, you don't play it. If you know how it ends, we don't play it. So the game of the yin-yang, the game of our behavior, the game of our karma, or the game of the games we play, or the patterns, our Groundhog Days, where we go round and around and around, repeating ourselves over and over again, we don't see the game. We don't see the whole, we don't connect all the dots. And if we connect all the dots, suddenly we see the whole game, and then we don't play it anymore because we know how it ends. We know that it doesn't mean, once you know the ending, it doesn't mean anything. You don't repeat it. So you only repeat a game where there's going to be a little surprise, you see. And so I think this is what Sherlock, he loves the game is on because there's going to be a surprise. He doesn't know, there's an uncertainty there. There's a darkness he has to figure out. It's not easy. The game for him was be one where a challenge, you see. So he's not really just, so this life is our game. So life is the challenge to connect all the dots in our life, just like Sherlock, you see. All of the things that are happening to us, we think are fragmented, something happening to us, disconnected, coincidence, accidents, stupid stuff. Nothing means anything except maybe a few things. But we don't connect all the dots. We don't see that our life is whole, that our life is one, that we are the one. We are, you and I, everyone is the one. Everyone is the one, and one means whole, one without a second. That means nothing's left out. The one includes everything. So the one of your life and the one of my life, you see, includes everything. I don't include you, but you're looking at yourself from the center, from the knower of your life, from the I, you see. And from that, the mind, from that one, everything that is happening, everything that you experience, the little odd things, the little clues, the little mistakes, the little surprises, the little things left out, the little, all the little things, you see, are all interconnected and make up you. So they're all pointing to the Sherlock in you to see, I see the connections. I see all the connections as once. So when you see all the connections as once, that seeing is the one, without a second. That knowing, that seeing the truth of you, that seeing the whole of you, the conscious and the unconscious, seeing you and your shadow, seeing the yang and the yin, you see, seeing them both together as one is liberation. It's freedom from being identified with the karmic pattern of time and form, you see. So our nation is caught up in a karmic repetition of our basic civil war. The ingredients of our the Civil War basically is just reenacting itself in different forms. Until we see that game, we'll just keep repeating it. Until you see the game, until you see through the game, till the game becomes transparent to the real. We keep repeating the game. Because we repeat the game, the reenactment, because we invest in it. We like it. There's a secret pleasure in it, you see. Even the Charlottesville violence, you see, was like a charge of Civil War soldiers. It was like a charge, rebel yell. That was a Civil War reenactment. And of course, when you come out with a battle flag, you're going to raise your opponent. You're going to create your enemy. You're going to create your Yankees. You're going to create your North, you see, because it's one. You see, when you have a division of the one, the yin creates the yang. The yang creates the yin. The yin creates the yang. Each creates its opposite. And the bigger your enemy, the bigger you. So more people come out against you, the stronger you get. So the acceleration of the war, the acceleration, the energy goes into this, wah, wah, wah. You see, the energy goes into this and keeps magnifying. So once you start one of these things here, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's what we're doing right now. So you get one at Charlottesville, and then they'll say, well, it's going to get bigger. So and then it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So each time the rebels show up, each time the rebels show up with their battle flags, the enemy, the army, the opposing army is going to show up with equal strength. And it's going to be up. This is what the Cold War was all about. Each time we got a missile, the Russians got a missile. This is what Korea and North Korea and America is about, with Trump anyway. Each time I threaten you, I'm going to threaten you bigger. It's like Laurel and Hardy. It's Laurel and Hardy. Remember all those little silent movie skits where I'll rip something off you, and you stand there, and then I'll rip something off you, and then you stand there, and then I'll rip something off you, and then I'll rip something off you, until finally everything's destroyed. Everything is destroyed, you see, because there's one-upmanship. Once you have two faces of the same face, each side has to save its face. Once you have two faces of the same face, a Janus god, two faces with one body, each one then begots, I got to save face. So each one is getting bigger and bigger and bigger to save face. So once you start one of these things, it can get out of control. It's like an engine that the governor has broken, and the engine a lot of movies, the train out of control, the truck out of control. You lose control. At some point you lose control. This is why war is unpredictable, because at some point you have wah, 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 and then you lose control. You don't know what's going to happen next. You see. So these little whirlpools become a tornado very quickly. And we can watch it on the media. Little tornado in Charlottesville, big one next, you see. So we really have to try and connect the dots and be Sherlock and get an understanding of how this karma works, how this pattern works. And the best place I've found is in my own life. Because we're all one, life is one, mind is one. So what happens in the exterior world, it also happens in my little mundane life. And I can see it and be aware of it. I can catch myself in my little whirlpools of behavior. Marriage is a great place for this. You can catch yourself. You can catch yourself with your hand in the cookie jar, where you say you're doing one thing, but your behavior is doing another, where you get this thing going, you see. So the same pattern, the same argument keeps repeating. I found that laughter is the only way, is my best way of getting out. Because when I see the yin-yang in my life, when I see myself creating a situation that I both secretly like, but consciously don't like, you see, where I'm caught in this catch-22 of liking and not liking, secretly liking, consciously not liking, secretly doing something, consciously saying I'm not doing it, secretly being guilty, consciously being innocent, you see, yin-yang, these opposites. When I catch myself in that, I laugh. I laugh because I've caught myself. I caught the shadow. I caught the joker. I caught myself with the hand in the cookie jar, you see. So that laughter is seeing. And then you can do what you want because you're free from it. Then you can you do what you want. You're free from the compulsion. So our nation is caught in these compulsions because we're in this we're in this division between conscious and unconscious, between saying we're doing one thing but doing another. Trump says he's doing one thing, he's doing another. The Republicans say they're doing one thing, they're doing another. So it's easy to see that the other person is a hypocrite. It's easy to see that the other person is doing one thing but saying another. You know, the Indians call that speaking with a forked tongue. So anyway, I hope I'm not rambling. I'm just kind of like connecting some dots in my day. Sherlock, Trump, Zen awareness of the whole, seeing the whole from the fragments, putting the pieces together. I see. When you say I'm see, you also say I'm free. I'm free from the tyranny of karma. I'm free from the tyranny of my own compulsions. I'm free from my habit mind. I'm free from doing what I don't want to do. I'm free. I'm free, as you see. And the only way to get freedom is to see, to be Sherlock. Connect the dots. See the whole picture. Everything is significant in Sherlock's world. Everything is meaningful. Everything is a dot to be connected. Nothing is irrelevant. Nothing is accidental. Everything fits. The world is one. Your life is one. Everything fits. But as long as you see it as a broken cup of just meaningless pieces of experience, you miss the point. You miss the Sherlock in our everyday life. So, thanks for dropping in.